Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be looking at some more hilarious results stemming from the H3H3 copyright infringement lawsuits he filed against content creators Frogan, Denims, and Caseytron. Now throughout all of this, since the announcement of his lawsuits, there's been one major chess piece a lot of people have been looking at during this entire endeavor, and that is Hasan Piker, who is essentially the brood mother of this entire thing after all. These are his biggest orbiters, some of his strongest soldiers, and they're in need. They have multiple GoFundMes out there. They're struggling. None of them have passed even 50% of their total goal. And a lot of people have looked to Hasan Piker wondering, this guy's worth tens of millions of dollars. What is he going to do to contribute to these GoFundMes? Well, the best he can do is a couple of retweets. That's all he's done so far. No actual financial donations to these causes as of yet. Just some retweets on Twitter. That's all he's done. And also at the end of the day, at this point, because he's waited so long, if he has to come in and bail them out, that's really funny. And at the end of the day, all this stuff is probably going to go towards the settlement that Ethan Klein is pursuing. So anyways, people have been checking in on the GoFundMes, and they're not doing well. Over the past 48 hours, the total donations received across all three of these GoFundMes are right here. It's a total of, let's see, roughly $570, give or take a few bucks. That's over 48 hours. And it's not too surprising because number one, after about a week or so, GoFundMes tend to die out in their momentum. But here you have Frogan, who's on a week-long break. You have Caseytron, who's on a road trip. And Denims is just being Denims. Like, do you guys understand your financial freedom is at risk here? And 2 out of the 3 people are taking breaks. I mean, this is crazy, especially for Frogan, who has a $200,000 GoFundMe, has the biggest goal to reach, and she's just going MIA. It's not going to translate into any money, as you can see. But of course, Hasan Eat the Rich Piker has had a lot of people calling him out, and also calling out some of his outfits. The irony of this guy pulling up to his streams in outfits worth tens of thousands of dollars, and people are starting to criticize his fashion choices, especially given everything going on with this lawsuit. And here's his beautiful and very empathetic response.
Every time we talk about anything that's not like immediately political, even though this one has a political slant associated with it as well, people will just like find a way to instantly write essays about how fashion is actually disgusting, it's exploitative, it ruins the planet, it's just like the worst possible thing, it's expensive, it's garbage. It's like, I know, man, I know all of it. I don't give a shit. First of all, there's not a single industry that doesn't have the exact same fucking litany of ethical complications and exploitative practices. And the way I see it is like, it's just art, man. It's just another way to do some kind of artistic expression.
That's right. Seize the means of production. Long live the proletariat. Until Hasan needs something. Until he needs high value luxury fashion. Then, whatever happens to those people, who cares? Very empathetic. 10 out of 10 empathy. He must have been studying from iDubbbz. But he's also been flexing his legal knowledge the last couple of weeks involving this set of lawsuits, retweeting this individual who basically states that this whole setup is a set of entrapment. And Hasan has stated that clearly on his streams, that he believes this is potentially entrapment from Ethan Klein. And well, these two ding-dongs don't realize that entrapment only applies to law enforcement and agents of the government, people acting under the authority of the government. Now, that's a conspiracy theory I've not seen for Ethan quite yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they get that desperate to share something like that. But one person has been calling out the attempts at legal advice and legal coverage that Hasan's been providing, and that, of course, is Legal Mindset, who's an actual attorney. And he has shared many thoughts about what Hasan has said, and also, of course, the words and actions of his orbiters and how their cases are looking. And to sum it up very briefly, it doesn't look good, and his biggest piece of advice so far has been to get a good negotiator and settle these cases before it gets worse than it already is. It doesn't look good for these orbiters, as reported by Legal Mindset. Now, this clip might be my favorite, showing that Hasan is trying to flex big words and make people think that he's so knowledgeable, but he doesn't even know the definition of these related legal terms, and he just looks like an absolute moron when he's confronted with someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
You can be a vexatious litigant.
Let's stop there. So pseudo-intellectuals like Hasan like to use big words that they don't understand. The word vexatious litigant does not just mean someone who files a lot of lawsuits. That is, it's not just that. A vexatious litigant is someone who files lawsuits with no merit, meaning they're going to get immediately dismissed, meaning these are lawsuits with no legal basis. And what you never hear from Hasan is you never hear him talking anything at all about the legal basis. Now, if he wants to argue that the system is broken, that's fine. And in fact, even myself and other law tubers have admitted that yes, parties with a lot of money tend to do better in court. That is very much true. And we've admitted that and talked about that. And I've been a critic of that when it comes to certain cases like with Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Corporation. That can be a problem. But throwing out words like vexatious litigant kind of goes against the rub here, because you have to admit that it has merit if you can come up with no legal argument against the case. Not an emotional argument, not a claim of bias, not any other claim. You have to tell me, Hasan Piker, why legally they will win. Your orbiters will win, and Ethan Klein will lose. Otherwise, it is a meritorious claim. That's a big word you can use now, meritorious, Hasan.
Now, there's also another situation going on involving one of Hasan's moderators. This is someone who mods for both his Twitch account and his Discord as well. And you can see Mr. Gorbachev here. What a great name. They're not having a good time. Right now, they're in the finding out stage. They've been messing around for quite a while. And as you can see, they're now private. And when I say they've been messing around, it's been for a very, very long time, as we'll see. But of course, how did we get here? Well, it begins with this clip from Emiru. Emiru would have the audacity to comment on the H3H3 copyright infringement lawsuits, where she gave the most lukewarm take ever, basically saying you can't maliciously promote yourself as a market replacement for his video and try to do it through the means that they did. You can't do that. It's all really she said, right? And that there is fair use, but they were going beyond that. Well, that would result in endless harassment against her, including from Mr. Gorbachev himself, where he would go viral with this post saying, "Woman who hangs out with every R-worder she meets. I think Israelis are fine." Yeah, that seems like a bit of a stretch there, not only slandering people she associates with, and really Emiru herself, but also somehow getting Israel out of her discussion about a copyright infringement set of lawsuits. But anyways, people would also share other posts from this sterling individual where they say, "Attention, if you're protesting in Los Angeles today, please stop by the Kobe and Gigi mural and make sure it's still ruined." Now, that is Kobe Bryant and his daughter, who both passed away a few years ago in a helicopter crash. This sick individual was encouraging people to deface their related mural. And why do people do this, you ask? Because they're deranged sociopaths who are using the protests like this in LA to excuse and justify destroying things and acting like complete psychopaths. That's why they're doing this, and that's why people like this are encouraging that behavior, because they're deranged. Now, as pointed out, people would discover that this person, this Gorbachev individual, is a mod in Hasan's Discord server as well on Twitch. And Asmongold would cover this because, well, of course he would. It's relevant to him. Hasan attacks him endlessly every single day. He's going to cover when one of his mods does something stupid. And here we have this. This video get a lot of attention, over 1 million views. And then Mr. Gorbachev would see that, right? He would see the reaction from Asmongold, and he would double down. And he would make this snarky reply that would get thousands of likes, saying Asmongold killed his mother by buying her cigarettes and surrounding her with filth. Another person who is spreading this absolutely heinous set of slander against Asmongold. We saw Casey Tron support this sort of narrative, one of the people in the lawsuits. But here this person is gleefully saying this, And of course, they would get a lot of flack beyond just the support. They would get a lot of people attacking them, rightfully so. And they would eventually say, it's a joke. You guys are humorless idiots. Yeah, let's see who's laughing now. Because after all this happened, people started searching this guy's digital footprint. And boy, did it get interesting. The first thing they found was his Xvideos account. Yes, that's right. I guess people still use that. Where you find out two pieces of information from here. Number one, he's watched over 30,000 videos. This guy's not just a gooner. He is a professional gooner, okay? And that's the first time I've unironically used that term in my entire life. And also people found out he's 47 years old. Now, I normally say, like, pointing out someone's age is not a valid criticism. We hear all the time, including from people like Hasan, who are like, oh, this dude's like 40. Who cares what his opinion is? Meanwhile, he's like 33 himself. But anyways, in this case, I think it is something worth noting. This is a guy who's 47 years old, modding for Hasan Piker, dedicating his free time, and probably all his time, to modding for Hasan Piker, going around on the internet, slandering and harassing people half his age. This is pathetic behavior. And I think the age is somewhat relevant here. Now, of course, people would dig through his many different adult-related profiles, and yeah, he's like in a ton of different fetishes, but there's some more serious stuff like this, where this person points out a screenshot of a tweet from his account. I'm not scrolling down because I don't know what the total validity of the image is, what we're actually looking at here, but you see the caption. You're in class and you see this, what would be your reaction? It's a younger looking guy flexing, and he says this. Super sexual comment about the person in the photo, who many people believe might be a teenager, based on the context of this. Obviously not a very good look, and as pointed out here, Hasan be calling Asmon, Nux, Tectone, pedophiles like crazy, but he's got one modding for him. That's what this person believes based on the context. And another user would find a bunch of messages, normal tweets as they describe, from Hasan's mod here, saying, you guys need to stop pretending like what Elias Rodriguez did was bad, hasty, or negative in any way. There's only one path forward, and it isn't through fundraisers for aid. They'll block or raising awareness, so people attend protests they'll ignore. You need to get real. Most of us will never muster up a fraction of the courage displayed. But the least you can do is shut the F up about optics or not wax poetic about how this will lead to more repression. The only way out is through, not by accepting that things get 0.5% worse every single day. Now you're like, who is Elias Rodriguez? Well, that is the individual, the terrorist who killed 2 Israeli ambassadors in the United States. This was an act of terror, and this guy is glazing him up. This isn't the usual terrorist sympathizing we see. This is terrorist worshiping. This is terrorist glorifying. This goes another level. Now, of course, after this stuff came out, Mr. Gorbachev ran away. He went protected mode. He put up a wall. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He's not going to. Just like everyone else who talks a lot of smack, says horribly slanderous things about people, the second they get anything back, a mirror shined on their own behavior, they run away. Every single time. At this point, the main question is, what does Hasan think about this? Because Hasan has a very long history of judging people by association. Basically saying, oh, this person's a part of your community. Oh, this person's your mod. Oh, this person's your editor. Oh, what do you think about this? You're responsible for them. Well, what about this? This is one of his trusted moderators who appears to have been with him for quite some time. You know, the deranged posts attacking people like Emiru, they're not enough. The deranged posts glorifying Elias Rodriguez, not enough. Maybe this time with the set of stuff coming out, maybe it's so embarrassing he might actually get rid of him, but as of recording this video, I haven't seen any evidence that he's parted ways with Mr. Gorbachev over here, but that's where we're at. And of course, it always comes back to him, right? It always comes back to Asmongold somehow. Instead of reacting to what's going on with this moderator, he reacts to Asmongold. He sees this headline saying the 35-year-old who's sitting in his mom's basement playing video games is going to have to get a job again, referring to the news here. And the first thought, the very first thought in Hasan's mind was genuinely messed up to call out Asmongold fans after all their support, shaking my head. Now, I've talked about Hasan plenty of times on this channel, but of course, he's a very big content creator and a very controversial one who is very relevant to people that you guys care about, some content creators that I care about, and the platforms that we both care about. So there's definitely interest in myself and the community and what this guy's up to, especially the most outrageous behavior. But that's when he's doing something publicly and direct from him. The only time I can ever recall thinking of this guy when seeing a headline was back when there was a bombing on Houthi terrorists, and I thought to myself, Hasan's got to be crying right now because, he might be worried that his favorite Houthi terrorist was swept up in those strikes. But yeah, that's really it. You can't have anything happen without him thinking about Asmongold. This entire set of lawsuits is hilarious. The results and everything that stems from it and all the players involved keep producing more and more hilarious content, and I can't thank them enough because, well, that's what's going on. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.